And welcome back from that break. Glad you're still watching Science Breakfast with me, Alan Hubbard, and a sign language interpreter this morning is Philip Omondi. In studio, we are with Mariana Wanyonyi, and we are talking about our heritage. This is in regards with the Kenya National Archives. And it is a fascinating conversation. And on our desk this morning, we are holding documents that stem all the way back to the 1800s. And if you missed the first part of this conversation, it is interesting. Just scroll through our social media. That is on YouTube, and you'll be able to get a snippet and an understanding of what the Kenya National Archives is all about. Now, Madam Mariana, before we went for the break, I had asked a question. Why is it important for us to keep our heritage? Over the break, we said, keeping all the colonial information. Isn't it about us holding back onto our pains? Because those were really dark times. So why is it important for us to keep all this information?
Yeah, it is important to keep this kind of information. For example, for some of the records which were migrated by the colonialists, but were taken and then we brought them back. We use them right now, some of those records, to address injustices. Injustices include land injustices, human rights injustices that were done, and violations. So those are some of the things that you have seen our forefathers, and including the Mau Mau, pursuing for compensation from the British. So if we didn't have records, if we didn't have authentic records, how would they be compensated? Of course, the British government needed evidence, and this evidence is in paper. Evidence is in the records that we have. It's an interesting thing, but let me just bring it up. You see, once we are mandated by law to go and collect these archives and bring them back to archives for preservation, some of them include land records. Land records. So Kenya National Archives has been a place that the other two arms of government have found evidence to settle some of court cases.
Court cases in regards to land.
Yes, in regard to land. Secondly, because we have old maps that showcase exactly where these lands were, the beacons and things like that. So we survey, like for example, the survey complements us. We would be having some of the colonial records about that.
So even because I'm even now looking at an intergovernmental agencies collaborating, because when you look at the IEBC, they are supposed to be delimiting boundaries.
Yes.
So how are you going to do it and do it in a just way? You have to go to the National Archives and see what the then map said, so that you are able to delimit the boundaries of constituencies or even counties a little bit more better. And also here, there is a new land law that is in some corridors of Parliament, and it wants to go back to the land injustices, back to when Kenya became a protectorate. Isn't that going to be a little bit tedious, you think?
It will be tedious, but you see, justice is justice, and people have to be compensated.
So probably the lands might not be taken back, but compensation has to
compensation has to be done. Of course, again, you asked rightfully. You see, you remember, I'm jogging your mind, during President Kibaki's role, there's a time we had a problem with Somali. The boundary issue. The only persons, the only agencies that brokered that was the Kenya National Archives.
Because
we produced
maps
that showed the boundary of Kenya rightfully and Somali rightfully. And of course the court of international court ruled in our favor. So we got our land back. It is the same thing I would tell Kenyans, relax about the Indian Ocean story you have heard this week. Just relax.
A boundary was already drawn through Lake Victoria.
Just relax. Records are there.
Records that
tasema ukweli.
When all this information exists, but of course it's in the National Archives, and we have a generation, or we have a population that is not accustomed to looking for this knowledge. Of course, there is a group of people who are scholars, and this is their discipline, so they will intrinsically look for the information. But for the general public, information is key. How then do we make sure that they get to know of the existence of these things? From your role as in charge of research, how do you make sure that this information exists? Now let the public consume it. Yeah.
One thing I would say, we were colonized by Britain.
Yeah.
To be colonized means that you begin to follow some pattern.
Yeah.
One of the patterns that, of course, there are many atrocities that the UK government did against our forefathers, but one of the things that has been embedded in them, we copy from them, is keeping records. Is keeping records. They solve a lot of family feuds and issues. Yeah. So I would encourage, don't really wait until things are out of hand before you begin to run to the Kenya National Archives, because we have seen some of the public Kenyans who run to us when things are out of hand. Please don't lose your land. Keep your record. Begin to keep your records, as a matter of fact, now. Yeah. And have it preserved. For you, it will solve a lot of problems for now, for future. Yeah. So, apart from, there's no much we can do. We are trying to publicize and to make people have a reading culture, and have records, proper records management and things like that. But for our own good. It's really
so
for
basically
our own
what
good.
You're saying, every family should have sort of an archive. You should have a family custodian who keeps everything that belongs to the family.
Yeah. Now you talked about technology.
Yeah.
I said we should not do away with the technology, but you let us use technology to enhance what we already have.
Yeah.
I mean, once you begin to digitize some of your title deeds, how can they be manipulated?
Nobody can manipulate them.
Yeah. So let's use technology to protect what is our own, or what has been rightfully given to us.
Yeah.
You have received inheritance, why should you lose it? Please, let's begin to digitize some of our things.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Going forward, how do people come to the National Archives? And before even we go there, there is a concern that I have. The National Archives is a state body, and there is also a law, a Persons with Disabilities Law, that confers access to such institutions, access free of charge for special interest groups. Sometimes they are called, but persons with disabilities. But when you go to some institutions, they are denied access, and they behave as if that law does not exist. At the National Archives, would it be a similar situation? And if, say, somebody who is visually impaired or somebody who is deaf walks into the National Archive and they've watched this show and they're like, okay, let me go see what exists in the National Archive. How ready is the National Archive to serve such a demographic?
We are an department that respects rule of law. Yeah. That's the first thing. Then the second bit of it, I'll give personal experiences that have happened. Just the beginning of this year, a couple walked in. One, I began to speak to the man, then realized he doesn't see. Yeah. But the wife, neither sees nor speaks. Yeah. But there are a couple, they are disabled. They're having a quest over some knowledge. They're having a quest about their lineage. Like I said, historians, most of them, when they're coming from outside the country, they are coming to trace their family history. So you try to help, but I'm limited in sign language. Yeah. So of course, the government has tried to educate us for capacity building for in sign language, but I believe, and I'd urge the government to employ more of our colleagues,
resident sign language interpreters or aiders.
Yes. Yeah. Currently, right now at the Kenya National Archives, I have one of my researchers who is deaf. Yeah. Ah. Yes.
It would be amazing to have a conversation with him.
He's called Mr. Githinji, so I wish I would be able to get a hold of him. Because sometimes, all the time, sometimes we are just writing with Githinji. Githinji is saying, I need, and I say, yes, I'm looking for. Yes, but you see, if there would be somebody who can interpret signs, it's very easy for them to communicate with him, rather than now it is back and forth. And it is tedious for my side and for his side as well.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I feel so pity. I have to take a lot of time. And instead of closing at about, the research section closes up at 4 p.m. But for the sake of somebody like Githinji, I cannot close at 4. I will be patient with him until he tells me I am comfortable, I am done. Because remember, we are doing back and forth. By the time I'm bringing a file for him to access, I have already taken 10 minutes of his time.
Absolutely.
So I have to give him an extra 10 or 15 minutes. So for persons with disabilities, they are all welcomed. We don't charge them. Githinji, for now, he freely accesses our materials. It's free for him. And, we charge for copies as well. But for him, it is exceptional. He's doing his master's. We wish him well when he's doing his master's. We help where possible we can, so that he brings a very furnished project. But we are limited, and dealing with him, we acknowledge. But I would urge, of course, management to be able to invest more
in accessibility. Interesting. Now, as we're winding up, how do we make sure that people come to the National Archives? Because now that is where the conundrum is. That is where the catch-22 is at.
Previously, in the previous governments, apart from recent ones, there was, Kenya National Archives was given a lot of airtime to be able to showcase what we have. We used to have a Kenya National Archives week. During that time, we used to showcase a lot of things that we have. And we also allowed the public to bring whatever it has, that it's feeling that it is unique.
It stopped?
Okay. Of course. You will be told about
budget constraints
and things like that. But I am saying, this is a memory. People are still having some of these things that we need to go after.
Absolutely.
But now, when money issues come in,
nobody wants to move a finger.
So I just urge, it is good to invest in a memory of a nation.
Of a country,
Please, it is important. Once we lose that, we have lost. I know that we have limited time. Now, about, I think, 1939, we were still under the British colony, but along Bazaar, that is where government offices were being held. The fire broke out and razed some of government records. It really pained the British. That's when they began now to say, no, we need to have an archive. It irritated them. You see, we have how can we lose records like this? So it's the same thing. They set precedents for us. So then we are following. So it is important for us to invest in the preservation of our culture.
Of culture and knowledge itself.
Yes.
Because if we want to build a first world country, then the children that are going to live that first world country, they need to know how it was built, and they should be able to preserve it.
Yes.
All right. I hope they have listened and they have watched. Not unless you have a personal note that you'd like to add in regards to the work that you do, a point that we've not touched base on.
Okay. One of the things that I'd like to urge the public. There are some people who would like to just preserve their own things. And they're wondering, you can become like Joseph Murumbi, your personal things, and you donate them, and they will be preserved. You have published a book, you would like it to be accessed, you'd like it to be preserved for posterity, please bring it. You have already seen that we can preserve things from 1800 and 1500 to today, so they can still be preserved.
Does it have to be a literal masterpiece, or it just anything?
No, people bring even their projects of school, master's and degrees, dissertations. Just a project that you're having. Do
I need to pay for such?
No, when you're donating, you don't pay.
I'm just saying, keep this knowledge for me.
But it will be used. It will be used. We have a lot of researchers who come and scholars. They will use the knowledge. We will make it accessible for them.
Yeah.
So you will be quoted in many researches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is not done just around Kenya. It's done world over.
Worldwide. I had a question. Now, they're all starting to come back to me at the tail end of the conversation. And the question was, in that form of, on that point of quoting, we quote the likes of Socrates, we quote the likes of Plato and all those ancient Greek philosophers. How come we do not have a culture of, we do not have Asian literature that for us we can also quote as Africans and say that there used to be a philosopher or there used to be a wise man, Kabaka Mutesa, and he said this. Why don't we have that culture? Or is it that our writers are not able to do that? Or is it that we have not been able to publicize that knowledge that we see it fit to quote it?
Let's begin to become like Wangari Maathai, professor. We have her collection with us. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, let's become like them. But I would say like for the ancient ones, it's, now they had the privilege of going to school. They had the privilege of dealing with papyrus and writings. We caught up later. So now that we have already caught up.
So there is a point that we missed out.
We missed out because they began learning these things earlier than us. Yeah. Like the Egyptians, you cannot begin to compare. Now we can. Then we wouldn't because they already were writing on papyrus and using the papyrus to write and the ink. By the time ink was being brought in Africa, it was during the time of the colonialists. So I'm saying we have already caught up with them because we are already now learned like them. So we should also now produce like them and begin to quote them. I'm glad, for example, like I've said, Professor Wangari Maathai, there is also Bethuel Ogot. These great authors have done great things for this nation. We need to keep quoting them. I
think it's an issue of publicizing, and I think that our generation now, that is the best service that we can do for our nation. Because
publicize it even on AI, please. ChatGPT, please publicize those things. Yes.
Because then what would we say we did for our nation? Because we have the technology, the history is written. Now let us use technology to publicize that information. All right, thank you very much, Madam Mariana, for making time. And henceforth, I will not look at the National Archives as just a building, but I will make a point to walk in and get to interact with the knowledge. Thank you very much for being with us this entire morning, and I hope you've picked value from that conversation. Remember, it is a Friday, and every other Friday we bring you Sporting Mandela that ushers in this weekend, the weekend's sporting action. So stay around for that because it is up next. From me, have a nice weekend, and let us see you on Monday.